Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. Ilizwe lakhiwa ngabanikazi balo. A nation is built by its own people. But we also say nyika inonamatirwa nevene vayo. This is J. Israel Jacob Dube, and I am the national spokesperson of the National Multi-Faith Economic Dialogue. And today I have a very important message that I would like to send across to all the churches. The church is meant to be the custodian of the moral fiber of the society. It exists to anchor communities in values that protect life, family, discipline, and social order. When that moral authority collapses, society pays the price. Church carries the sole responsibility to regulate the moral fiber of the community. Today we are witnessing a deep moral decay, and it is disheartening. It has left the nation battling a serious pandemic of drug and substance abuse, especially among the youth, the young people. This did not happen in a vacuum. It is the result of a failure in moral guidance, where clarity, discipline, and responsibility should have prevailed. The church is supposed to teach the sanctity of family, not preside over its destruction. What am I saying? The church bears the responsibility of building families and bringing families together, not destroying families. The church is supposed to teach the sanctity of family, not to preside over its destruction. The church bears the sole responsibility of family rehabilitation. The church has the responsibility of bringing together families. But today we are faced with a problem in churches where families don't see eye to eye because of church. Today we are faced with serious problems where families have turned against each other because of religion and because of church. Church should uphold marriage as a pillar of stability. God is the one who set up the institution of marriage. Marriage as an institution was set up by God. And it is the responsibility of the church to build families, to build marriages, to work on couples. But today we are faced with a problem where divorce is as a result of church. If we are going to sit down and be honest with each other, we have so many disgruntled people all over Zimbabwe who are hurt by the church. They might not voice it out. They might not talk about it. You might not hear about this on a daily basis, but there are so many disgruntled individuals who are marching and getting ready to turn their backs on God because they were disappointed by church. Despite of our differences in doctrines, differences in beliefs, we can still coexist together in this ecosystem. We can still be found working together, talking to one another as religious institutions. Not agreeing in terms of doctrine must never be a cause of conflict among churches. I long for a day where Baba will sit down with Prophet Hubert Angel. I long for a day where Prophet Hubert Angel will sit down with prophets from Ngotsuku. Not because they share the same beliefs, but because we coexist in this ecosystem and we all believe in the vision of our president, His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. If we do not agree on doctrine, why can't we sit down and agree, Tese, kuti we love our president, we love ZANU-PF, and we are staunch ZANU-PF supporters. I long for that day. Rekuti masawada achagara pasi. Omboita kakuwirirana. Neve Roman Catholic. Ve Roman Catholic vachiwirira nao neve kungotsuku. Vengotsuku vachiwirira nao neve ngochena. Vengochena vachiwirira nao nemaprofita emasutu. I can't wait to witness a day like that. I know many of you look at me as a critic of churches, but I always like to stay factual. Anything that involves crime, I'll talk about it. Anything that involves the abuse of women, I'll talk about it. Anything that involves the abuse of children, I'll talk about it. Because children cannot be married at the age of 12. That is insanity. Even if religion agrees with you, that is insanity. Children are supposed to be protected at all costs. I long for a day when the National Sports Stadium is going to host an event with Prophet Makandiwa on the flyer, Prophet Magaya on the flyer, Prophet Uberenjo on the flyer, Prophet Ed Branson on the flyer, Bishop Tuda Bismarck on the flyer, Mazbaba Mozi on the flyer, Mazbaba Owen Velvet on the flyer. I long for that day with the president of the nation backing that event. I long for that day. I can't wait for a day like that to come. The church is meant to be a pillar of social welfare and community well-being, a place of healing, a place of guidance, and a place of service. Instead, we are confronted with serious religious leaders whose priorities have drifted from the true essence of the gospel of Jesus Christ, replacing service with spectacle, compassion with commerce, and moral leadership with self-interest. Church is supposed to feed the community. Now that's the gospel. Church is supposed to bear the sole responsibility of feeding communities. The social well-being of your members is on you. The social welfare of your members is on you if you are a leader. Now that is the true church. It's also biblical. Because you see, when we look at the book of Malachi chapter 3, many people think God was addressing the Israelites, meaning the members of the church. God was addressing the priests, the custodians of the altar. He was saying, you have stolen from me. You are thieves. Why? Because God looked into the storehouse and he saw that the storehouse was empty. What is the responsibility of the storehouse? The storehouse of God is supposed to feed the less privileged, the orphans, and the widows. Because God is the father to the fatherless, and he is the husband to the widows. So when God looks in the storehouse and he sees there is nothing, but he looks in the garage of the pastor and he sees a Bentley, that's where God begins to have a problem. So every service, offerings are collected in the name of tithes, seeds, and different names that are given to these offerings. Where do these offerings go? That is why God said, you have stolen. Because it is the social responsibility of the church to look after the less privileged. If you attend a church that does not have a foundation that is looking after the less privileged, the orphans, and the widows, you are in the wrong church. There might not necessarily be a foundation, but if your church and your men of God is not looking after the less privileged, but he preaches and collects offerings every Sunday, you are in a cult. You need to pack as a matter of urgency and look for a new church. See, that is why a Vision 2030 was put in place, because the church has failed in the social responsibility of the community. That is why NDS 1 was put in place and NDS 2 was put in place, so that there can be money in the pockets of the members, so that there can be food on the table of the members. But when they come to church, what are you telling them and what are you giving them? This is not an attack on faith. This is a call for accountability. When religion loses its moral compass, society loses its balance. And no nation can build a nation or a future which is stable while its moral foundations are being quietly eroded under the cover of spirituality and in the name of Jesus. Now, as NAMFED, we have taken up the social responsibility. Many of you might say, you stopped preaching and now you are doing politics. I'm not doing politics. You don't do politics. Anyone who says he's doing politics is doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm not doing politics. I'm serving the country. I'm saving the nation in different ways possible. How am I serving? I'm serving in NAMFED. And what are we doing in NAMFED? We have brought together all the churches. With who? With our leader, our chief convener, Mazbaba Obema Pranga. A very eloquent, humble, soft-spoken and wise man who speaks from the heart and from the bosom of the president himself. A man who has understood the vision of His Excellency and is running with it. We have brought together all religions, not churches, because it's bigger than churches. The vision is bigger than just churches. We have brought together all religions. We have about 1.5 million Muslims who are subscribed under NAMFED. They are affiliated to NAMFED. And by the way, NAMFED is an implementation partner in the formulation of the NDS 2. We have the Jews, Varemba, they are part of us. Different religions and different sects that we have brought together. And already we have Manicaland that received $50,000 under the Presidential Empowerment Fund for people in the communities to do projects so that there can be food on the table and money in the pocket. Courtesy of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Service is all that Zimbabwe needs. This is J. Israel Jacob Dube, and I approve this message. Pamberi na ZANU-PF.